Over the last 50 years, cognitive science has made a lot of progress, understanding how humans think and what sorts of biases we tend to have. And then over the last 10 years, this research has made its way into the public eye in best-selling books like Predictably Irrational, Thinking Fast and Slow, Blink, and How We Decide. So there's now the research about our biases, and a public interest in overcoming biases. All that was needed was an organization to take that research and turn it into simple skills people can learn. That's why we founded the Center-For-Applied Rationality. Our long-term mission is to help people make better decisions, for their own lives and for their society. To get there, we're improving our curriculum and making it more accessible to people who are younger and less educated than our current participants. We're doing long-term research, measuring which critical thinking techniques make people significantly more accurate on real-world issues, and on whether rationality improves people's lives long-term. And we're building a community. Rationality is a lot like the open source movement. Some of the best advances in our curriculum have come from our alumni trying things out and reporting back to us and each other. Rationality is a lot like a martial art. You can't just explain it and then expect people to magically have a new skill. So at our workshops, we have people practice on real-life issues, which first helps the education stick, and second, makes rationality so much more compelling than a standard critical thinking class, because it's helping people with real things they care about. We're also unique in building a community of people interested in rationality via online forums and alumni reunions, because social support is one of the most crucial factors in lasting behavioral change, and that certainly includes changes to the way people think about the world. One of our biggest strengths at the Center for Applied Rationality is our empiricism. Every class we design is backed up by pages of relevant research from the scientific literature, and our board of advisors includes some of the world's top academic researchers in economics, psychology, and cognitive science. And because we're so aware of how universal cognitive biases are, we work really hard to guard against them in our own organization. For example, we fight the echo chamber effect by inviting outsiders who disagree with us to come to our meetings and tell us why they think we're wrong. We measure the number of people we've run through our workshops. We also survey participants anonymously to find out how valuable the workshop was to them and which techniques they continue to use down the road. Of course, we also want objective evidence about how rationality training improves people's lives and thinking skills, not just self-reports. So we're running randomized controlled trials to compare life outcomes and thinking skills for people who come to our workshops versus people who don't. One common misconception about rationality is that it means ignoring or suppressing your emotions. But actually, cognitive science has shown that both your emotional and your analytical decision-making systems are essential, and they each have their own strengths and weaknesses. So at the Center for Applied Rationality, a lot of our classes are designed to help people use both their emotional intuitive and their analytical reasoning, and coordinate those two systems skillfully with each other in the service of their goals. We run 4-day workshops and week-long summer camps for high school students, and in the process we've developed and tested out over 100 different classes that we've winnowed down to a core curriculum. We've also worked with Professor Saul Perlmutter, a Nobel laureate physicist at UC Berkeley, to co-design and co-teach a class on rationality for Berkeley undergraduates. And we've awarded many scholarships to students trying to plan an altruistic career, entrepreneurs tackling problems like open science and healthcare reform, and other people who want to use rationality to help the world. One major challenge for us has been reaching people who aren't already in our core demographic, which is adults or very advanced high school students who are well-educated and self-motivated and interested in rationality. That's obviously a small portion of the overall population. It's just currently the low-hanging fruit. But we're confident that we can expand to more challenging demographics as we get more skilled at teaching rationality and making it compelling and useful to all sorts of people. We have a lot of projects we're excited about. One of them is our scholarship program for K-12 teachers. In our long-term vision, school curricula would all include training in probability, logic, cognitive biases, and good decision-making habits. In the short term, we think that giving rationality training to individual teachers, each of whom will pass it on to hundreds of students, is a good first step. And those teachers' pioneering efforts will give us valuable information about which strategies for teaching rationality in schools are most effective. In the long run, we want to go beyond helping individuals and change the public discourse about rationality. Our dream is a world in which people are praised for changing their mind in response to good evidence, not derided as flip-floppers, and where people care more about getting the right answer than they do about proving themselves right or winning a particular argument. So we're investigating ways to make rationality a standard and a virtue by influencing society through the media, public campaigns, and pop culture.